what is the meaning of the word Israel? You have more than one, but we start with one question. Okay, fine. So the first question was the meaning of the word Israel. So obviously you can imagine that the word Israel have many meanings. It's not like one thing that I can say that will, like, I cannot summarize all the meanings that there is for Israel. Okay, there's many meanings, but I will give you one simple understanding that Israel is Yeshar, straight, El. Okay, so to be straight with God. One of the meanings of the word Israel is Yashar Kel, which is to be straight with God. And this is like a very big fundamental principle that we need to look up to be straight with Hashem. Okay, there's a lot of need for that today in the world. People that they want to be spiritual, but they try to deny the Torah and they need to follow the Torah. Yeah, I had like one guy like a couple of years ago, 3 years ago maybe. One guy was like commenting on one of my videos, and he wrote something. This is the view of the Orthodox rabbis about Kabbalah, something like that. And I wrote him back like, is there like a new Kabbalah that is not following that? Like, so those guys that are like following the like different kind of teachings of Zohar, and they're trying to make it as if it's not connected with Kabbalah, with the Halacha, with the Torah. So they're claiming things like that. But obviously for us, it's obvious that it's not true. It's not the way. I mean, now like tomorrow, we're getting to Lag BaOmer, the retort of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that wrote the Zohar. So I told this guy, if you would ask Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, do you think that he will allow you to do whatever it is that you do? Obviously not. So you want to follow the teachings of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, so how can you go against the opinion of like following the Torah? Anyhow, so to be straight with Hashem, what does it mean to be straight? We know what we need to strengthen ourselves with. So to be straight with Hashem, this is mean to be Israel. We want to be Israel, have that privilege to be called Israel. We have to be straight with Hashem. As much as we strengthen our ways with Hashem, we will have more the privilege to be called Israel. Okay, again, that's one meaning. There's many other meanings. You want Gematria, Bezrat Hashem, another time we'll speak about the different Gematriot of each one of the letters of Israel is very meaningful. Okay, each one of the letters. And obviously, if you put it all together, so it will have extra understanding. But another time we'll get into that.
How does it also mean like leader of God?
What?
It means leader of God, leader of Hashem. Like a prince of Hashem.
Sar Kel. Sar Kel. Like the main, the Torah itself, when it speaks about that Yaakov Avinu got the name Israel. So what was the reasoning there? That Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem told Yaakov Avinu, Lo יקרא שמך יעקב כי אם ישראל. Why? כי שרית עם אלוקים ואנשים, because you were fighting with the angel of Esav, right? And you were like, you compete him, you beat him. So because you beat the angel, that is all the angels are called Elokim. So you have the privilege of to be called Israel. So this is the simple meaning that it says in the Torah. So from that understanding, we see that whoever is a real like Israel, he have the privilege, he have the capability, he have the quality of going higher than angels. Okay, and we see by Yaakov Avinu, which is our role model of how we should act. We see that Yaakov Avinu, he did it. Okay. Okay. Now you had a question that I didn't understand. That your brother had something. What was the question?
This is me.
Yes. I'm asking you.
I never asked a question about
you
my
wrote me in
brother.
the email something about that there is some kind of confusion. No, it was not you. Maybe I'm mixing with someone else. I thought that you wrote me some kind of a question in the email. Okay, fine. It was someone else. Okay, no problem. Do you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Yes, I actually have a question about Lag BaOmer. It's not exactly about Lag BaOmer, but maybe it's kind of related. So I'm sorry, my memory is sometimes not so good, but I remember in the Gemara there is a story where one of the Amoraim he he says that because he has to work, he cannot devote time to learn Merese Merkava, and so he says because he has to work, and then there's the story of the angel says also so this Rabbi he learns the seven Sedarim, but he doesn't learn the other two. And so I have a question of, so we understand that there's a high from the teachings of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. This is a separate seder from the Mishnah. But what is the other one? Since the Gemara says there are two additional rather than just one. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense. What I said.
It's not. I don't. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense, but the volume is not strong enough, and there's other like external voices that from like the next room, so I don't hear like well enough to be able to understand what you're asking. But if I understood your direction of question is about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai argument with Rabbi Ishmael, is it proper to work or it's not proper to work? That was part of the question, the first part of the question.
No. So from inside of the Gemara, it talks about the like the Kabbalah, in addition to the seven Sedarim of the Mishnah. It says there are two additional Sedarim, and so in addition to Zahar, what would be the second?
Where did you see that? Where did you see that?
As I said, my memory is not so good. I believe that was in the Gemara in Masahet Bechorot, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I need to look on the source of that to be able to refer to the question. But there is mentioned in the Gemara in different places that there was other starim of Mishnayot. Today we have 6. It says that by like in different generations, so they had like less, and it says about Avraham Avinu that he had like a lot of like laws of Avodah Zarah, like 500 like classics of Avodah Zarah, because it was like the need of each generation. So it's not it's very hard to refer to that, but the point of the matter is that whatever it is that we have today, that's what we have to learn. Hashem is not judging us according to what there was available or not available in previous generations. Whatever it is that we have in front of us, this is what we have to deal with. If it's Mishnayot, if it is Zohar, if it is whatever it is the Torah that we have in front of us, that's what we have to learn. Moshe, you want to ask another question?
What's the meaning behind gematria?
Generally, what's the meaning behind gematria?
Yes. What? So what? Two words have the same gematria. What?
It is a way to see that there is connection between those two concepts. So you have two words that each one is representing a certain concept, and if it has the same gematria, so it can have a connection. It doesn't prove that it must have a connection, but it can show you can get extra understanding, a deeper understanding of the connection between these different concepts by making the comparison of the different gematriot.
I heard that the gematria of Amalek is the same gematria as the word for doubt.
Yeah, safek. Amalek gematria safek. Yes, right. So this is an example that we can understand. We can relate. Somebody will ask, what is the meaning of Amalek today? Right? I don't see a nation that is called Amalek. So what is the meaning of that? So we answer him Amalek is the gematria of doubt. So your doubts in the Torah is Amalek. So when you get rid of the doubts that you have in the Torah, so this is like getting rid of Amalek, for example. Okay, that's a good example. Yeah. David, you have a question for us? Okay, not yet. No problem. No problem. Okay. Remind me your name?
Dustin.
Dustin?
Yes.
So what, you have another question for us?
No, I have no.
Nothing ready? Okay, so I see that only Moshe is ready with a set of questions here. Moshe, let's go to your
I
next.
had one. I just lost. I just lost.
Ah, you lost it? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. What? I don't say that I have all the answers, but you can try.
Okay. I think I'm not sure if I.
You told me a question about the meaning of time, right? You had a question about the meaning of time. What's the meaning of time according to the Kabbalah? Yeah? Okay. So this is a very interesting question, and it's very, very deep. It's not something that they can summarize in short, but I can give a certain line of thinking for the meaning of time in the Kabbalah. That
I have a question.
that the meaning of time is part of the creation, is limited to the creation. Hashem is above time.
Hashem never said, let there be time.
Right. The Vilna Gaon, he says that the word Bereshit in the beginning of the creation, this is correspond to the beginning of time. What is Bereshit? Beginning of what? So he says beginning of time. So from Bereshit onwards, that's the creation of time. Okay, but we know that Hashem was before the Bereshit. Hashem was before time. So Hashem is above time, right? Hashem is not limited to the time zone. So we cannot. So that's why we say that the meaning of the Yud Kei Vav Kei is past, present, and future. What does it mean that it's past, present, future? It means past, present, future all at once. It means that past, present, future doesn't have meaning. Hashem is above past, present, future, right? That's one of the main understandings of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay. Anything else?
Okay, so is Hashem static or dynamic?
Is Hashem static or dynamic? You can't.
Because
That's invalid question. You cannot ask questions about Hashem.
If Hashem created the world, then something must have changed.
Hashem created the world, and what changed is the world, not Hashem. Hashem didn't change because of the creation of the world. Okay. It's not about static or dynamic. That's like when you're asking questions like that about Hashem himself, it's like you're putting Hashem down. Okay, you're putting Hashem down, like Hashem is part of the creation. Within the creation, we have those concepts of static, dynamic, past, present, future, here, there, all of those different concepts is within the creation. But Hashem is above the creation. Hashem is not limited to those questions. So if you say that he's static or dynamic, in both cases, you're limiting him. It's not about that. Hashem doesn't have any limitation. He doesn't have the limitation of being static. He doesn't have the limitation of being dynamic. Okay? So that's a wrong question. I'm sorry.
Can you sum up the time question? Can you just remind me?
You ask what's the meaning of time according to the Kabbalah.
Just count.
Anyhow.
It's just hard to understand.
What?
That Hashem. Time is another word for change. That's what that's how I understand.
The change, according to our perception, change is only time binded. You cannot have change without time frame, right? If you have something that is static, it's standing on the same point of time, so it doesn't change, right? That's our perception, right? Yeah, that's what you want to say? And you're asking if that's true in the realm of Hashem? The answer is we don't have any clue what's going on in the realm of Hashem. To think in this way, that as if we can understand what's going on in the realm of Hashem, that's a mistake. Without getting to the question, without starting the answer. We don't have any idea what's going on in the realm of Hashem. Our perception is limited. Okay? That's the premise. That's a basic. Okay. So I will ask a question. Okay? I will present the question. So my question is, how can we know what is our job in this world? Okay, that's a question that many people are asking, and I answered that a few times, but it's always good to remind ourselves. What is the way that we can know what's our job in this world? Okay?
To read.
Individually. I'm saying, I'm not generally, individually. So I'm saying there is, first of all, this is like the best question a person can ask. What should I do with myself? Okay? And the answer is that there's always at least one thing positive and one thing negative. Positive means something that the person have to do. I have to do certain thing. And the negative is something that I have to prevent myself from doing. Okay? So we have the positive mitzvot and we have the negative mitzvot. So every person have one positive mitzvah, which is his main purpose in life, that you have to work on this mitzvah very hard. It doesn't mean that this is the only mitzvah you have to do. Everybody have to do everything. But the main focus, the main strength have to be going to that direction of one positive mitzvah. And in the negative side, there is the negative mitzvot, things that we shouldn't do. So within all the prohibitions of the Torah, there is a certain prohibition for each individual, which is the main prohibition that he have to hold back and hold himself not to do that prohibition. And again, also there, everybody have to prevent themselves from any negative mitzvah, but specifically every person have a certain negative mitzvah that this is the main thing that he come to prevent himself from doing. Okay? So what is the way that we know what is the positive and what is the negative in our life that we have to focus on? So if we have someone like the Arizal, like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, like Moshe Rabbeinu, like other big tzaddikim that had prophecy and they could tell us, good, very good, Baruch Hashem, that would be the best. But for that time that we don't have, so what do? We have to focus on our emotion that are aroused from certain mitzvot. So for example, if somebody he feels when he's doing something positive, he feels very positive. For example, let's say someone is putting on tefillin, and every time he's putting on tefillin, he's getting like such a joy, such like inspiration from the tefillin, and he looks around and he sees the other people that they are putting on tefillin. Yeah, we're doing it like by the way. Okay, so someone like that, he have to invest in the tefillin mitzvah, because the tefillin mitzvah for him is very, very centered in his spiritual life. Okay, the positive, it has to be very positive for the person, and that will be the sign. When someone is doing something and he feels that he's gaining a lot of spirituality, he's gaining a lot of connecting to Hashem through this mitzvah, that will be a sign for the positive. Okay, and also, and the same thing opposite in the negative. Someone that is doing a certain sin, and whenever he going like against this prohibition, he feels that like that's it, he destroyed his life, that's it, it's finished, it's all done. He's like he's going into depression, he's taking it very, very seriously, this sin, this negative thing. So that will be a sign that this is the main thing he have to prevent himself from. Okay, this is like the two extremes. Obviously there is a lot of middle ground there, but I'm saying like that's the two extremes. So whenever someone have those like strong feelings, strong emotions about positive or negative, those emotions should not be ignored. We have to look very carefully to those emotions and to know that this is very, very important for us. It's not a joke. It's very serious. We have to take it seriously and relate to that and invest in the positive and put all our effort to prevent ourselves from the negative. Okay? Somebody have another question? Okay. So I'll say another question. My next question is, how can you know which rabbi is your rabbi? How can you know to pick your rabbi? How can you know who to believe? Okay, this is something that is very, very important in our generation. There's many people that are very confused and they don't know who to believe. There's so many rabbis, there's so many opinions, there's all kinds of different like direction and sideways of people that are claiming to have like the true way for whatever it is. Yeah, so it's sometimes for some people it's a very, very big challenge. Okay, so how can you know who is your rabbi? So there is one way to know about it is by acknowledging that you have a certain soul that needs a certain need.
Can you cover reincarnation?
Bezrat Hashem will touch in reincarnation next. It is related with also with reincarnation because your rabbi is really part of your neshama. Okay, why some people are connecting to certain rabbis and other people are not connecting to the same rabbis? Because you are connecting to whoever is in the root of your neshama. Okay, like we know that there is a structure of family tree, which is the physical genealogy. So in a similar way, there is also spiritual genealogy. So whoever is within your line, but is higher than you, within that line of soul genealogy, that person can very well be a rabbi. So when you meet someone that he might be very, very smart, he might be very good, but he's not your rabbi. You're not relating to him. He's not relating to you. You feel that it's not your rabbi. Why? Because this is not your soul genealogy. It is not part of your line. Okay? So you have to find someone that you will be able to relate to him. He will be able to relate to you. There is a connection. So then there is a line of spiritual genealogy, of soul genealogy. And extra upon that, obviously, the person have to be a real rabbi, to be capable to be a rabbi, meaning he's not just tells you that, yeah, I know better than you. You see that he knows his stuff. You see that he knows the halakha, he knows that whatever it is that you have questions on, chumash, nevi'im, you have what to sell. You have merchandise, yeah? If he's someone that he doesn't know anything, so obviously he cannot be a rabbi. You have to be able to perform, to have questions and to receive the right answers that will be right for you, that will apply for you. Then when you meet someone like that is capable, you have the ordained to be a rabbi, he knows the halakha, he knows the Torah, he knows everything, and you're able to relate to him, so then you can say you found your rabbi. Okay? And by the way, unfortunately, I see that in our generation, it is very rare. Most of the people, they don't find their rabbi. Okay? Most of the people, unfortunately, in our generation, they don't have a rabbi, they don't find a rabbi, and it's a big stumbling block for many people that they don't have anyone to ask their questions to because they're not able to relate. Anyhow, that will be for that. Now, you're asking about reincarnation. You want to specify exactly the question?
Okay. How do we know that it is the case? How do we know?
That the case is?
How do I know that I really had
that there is reincarnation?
How do we know that we really had a previous life?
Okay.
How do we really know?
How do we know that that reincarnation is real? That's your question.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, that's what it says. Okay. We have sources for that. It speaks about it in the Zohar, speaks about it in the Arizal. There's a whole like Shraga Gilgulim, the gate of reincarnation. Okay. So that became to be let me answer. That became to be part of the oral Torah. Okay. The Zohar and the writings of the Arizal were accepted in Am Israel in a way that became to be part of the oral Torah. So you can relate to those writings like you're relating to any part of the Torah. So somebody that you have a doubt about, for example, he will ask, how would I know that really it is a prohibition to eat dairy and meat together? What do you mean? It says in the Torah. How would you know? You just look in the Torah and you see, right? The same thing. How do we know that Hashem created the world in 6 days? Because it says it in Bereshit. Okay. Now this is the first answer. The first answer is that we're accepting all the parts of the Torah, including the Kabbalah, including the Zohar, including the writings of the Arizal, and this is our foundation to define what is true and what is false. Okay, definition of what is true. If it's in the Torah, it's true. If it's not in the Torah, it's false. Okay, this is the definition of true and false. Other people will say, but the science does not recognize it. Okay, so if your religion is science, so you go by the science. So that's a different religion. Okay, there is people that they think that whoever is believing the science is not believing in the Torah, whatever. It's nonsense, because there's many scientists that are religious, and there is many religions that are involved with science. It's nothing to do with what we know. But the question is, what do you define as truth? So for us, the Torah is the truth. It's not only for us; it's for the whole world. But we know that the Torah is the truth. Okay. So if you don't accept it, so let's say we have to go back to like the 13 attributes of the Rambam of what the attributes of faith, the foundation of faith. And one of them is to believe that the whole Torah is truth, also the oral Torah, also the written Torah. If we have that missing link, so we cannot continue to anything else. That's a premise that everything is built upon. Okay. So the Kabbalah is part of the Torah, and I can tell you that there was a big rabbi, I don't want to mention his name, that he was a big rabbi. He knew a lot of Torah, okay? And he didn't accept the Zohar. He didn't accept the Zohar. He had doubts about the truth of the Zohar. And he wanted to be a chief rabbi. So the chief rabbi of his time, Rabbi Yosef Zatzal, told him, you cannot be a chief rabbi, you cannot be a rabbi at all if you don't believe that the Zohar is truth. You have to hold the Zohar and swear that you believe that it's true. Whatever is written there is true. You don't have to learn it, but you have to say that it's true. If you have a problem to say that whatever is written in the Zohar is truth, so you are denying part of the Torah. Whoever is denying part of the Torah, so okay, so that's we have to go back to the basics. So the reincarnation is mentioned in the Zohar, in Parashat Mishpatim, and also Parashat Ve'echi, and also other parashiot of the Zohar. And the Arizal spoke about it a lot in many books, specifically the Sha'ar Gilgulim, the Gate of Reincarnation. And actually, I have like one of the e-courses that I'm working on to set up. Bezrat Hashem, Hashem will give me the strength to do that. Is about reincarnation. So Bezrat Hashem, I hope that it will become to be available soon, maybe this week, maybe next week.
How many lives did I live before?
How many times you've been in this world before this life? So that's an answer that is not so simple to answer, okay? There is people that are claiming that they can tell you how many lifetimes you had according to the palm, to read the palm. Okay, sorry. There is people that they claim it. I'm not involved with reading palms, but
it sounds kind of.
there is sources of reading palms. There is source for that, but I don't want to discuss it right now. Maybe that will be another question. But for your question of how many times you've been here, it's not really relevant.
But was I always a Jew?
Not necessarily. A Jewish soul can be reincarnated in a non-Jewish body for a case that it needs tikkun. Someone that he needs a certain tikkun, so he can be reincarnated within a body of a non-Jew. It's possible. Usually it's not the case. It shouldn't be the case, but sometimes it is the case in rare occasions. And then this non-Jew will have the desire to convert, will have the desire to connect to the Jewish community, whatever it is. Okay. Anyhow, we already got to that subject matter of the palm reading. So I'll tell you that there is a Zohar in Parashat Va'ata Techezeh, Parashat Yitro. There's an article that starts about the Pasuk Va'ata Techezeh, and there's a long article there that speaks about reading palms and reading the face of people. Chokhmat HaPartzuf, it's called in Hebrew. The wisdom of face. To look on someone's face and to know, to recognize, like, who is it, like what is his neshama and so on. So there is people that are very, very involved with it. And I had a book in my yeshiva of Chokhmat Hayad VaPartzuf, and somebody took it. It's gone. So I guess there is someone that was very involved with it to the point that he allowed himself to take it without my permission, unfortunately. But the point is that there is a lot of commentaries. There is an article of Zohar, and the whole book there that I had there that this person took, it was all commentaries about the Zohar that are giving, like, what is the practical way to get involved with this wisdom. And it's very, very complicated. Okay, it's very, very complicated. I read one of the commentaries there of Arav Avraham Azulai, which is the grandfather of the Haggadah. So he have a commentary on the Zohar. So he was, like, in length speaking about this article, and it's very, very complicated. It's very, very complicated. It seems like something easy that, you can make a chart. This makes a sign for this. This makes a sign for this. But after you look, like, a little bit deeper, so you see that it's very, very hard to make that chart. It's not so easy. It's even someone that will read all of these books, all of these commentaries, and so on. It's a big doubt if he will be really able to get involved with it. Okay, so Bezrat Hashem, maybe in the future we'll try to give it over this article of Zohar of Parashat Yitro, but for now that's not what I'm involved with. Any other question for today?
What is death?
What is
death?
Death?
Death.
Death. What is death? Okay.
Define
death. So
look. Wait, let me guess. The split between the body and the soul, and the separation of the body and the soul.
No. Death is to be separated from Hashem. This is death. For most of the people that are living, so-called living in this world, life is the physical body. Okay, what is life? That the physical body is functioning. Okay, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how do you lie, how do you live, as long as your physical body functions, so that's life. Okay, according to the Torah, no, that's not the case. It says tzadikim b'motam nikraim chaim. The righteous people, in their death, they are called alive. The reshaim and the wicked people, b'chayeim, in their life, nikraim etiv, they are called dead. So what is the definition of life? to be righteous, meaning to have the connection with Hashem. Someone that is connected with Hashem is called living. Someone that is apart from Hashem is called dead. Okay? And the physical body is the garment of the soul. Okay? So it has a garment. It has a physical garment. When the time comes when the neshama leaves that physical garment, so okay, so whatever the garment goes to the washing machine. Yeah, you put the coat in the washing machine and you change your coat. Not you, someone else. Yeah, that's not real death. Death is when someone is making a sin and is cutting his connection with Hashem. That then is dead. Even though it might be that his physical body is still sustaining itself, so it looks as if you have a living person there, but he's dead. Okay? So for us, that's what we say, V'atem advekim b'Hashem Elokechem, chayim kulchem hayom. You that are connected, dvekim b'Hashem Elokechem, you are connected with Hashem, you are alive. You are alive. Whoever is connected with Hashem is alive. Okay? And also in relation to Lag BaOmer, this is the reason of the great joy that there is in Lag BaOmer, because we have the privilege to connect with the connection of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Okay? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he was putting so much effort to connect himself with Hashem through his lifetime, that when he passed away, that was the peak of his life. It was not the end of his life. It was a new beginning of a new stage of relationship with Hashem that is continuing, right? And that's the meaning of the death of the righteous people is alive. Because why? Because they get into a higher connection. As long as a person is getting to a higher connection, a higher connection, a higher connection, this is life. Someone that is status is like status quo, or in the negative is going down, so that's death. Okay, that's death. So we have to make sure that all the time we're working on ourselves to get a higher connection, to have a better connection with Hashem, with more enthusiasm, with more inspiration, to be able to relate to Hashem in every particle of our life. As much as we do that, then we're more alive and more alive and more alive and more alive, to the point like the big righteous people like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which is a good example for us, that he took it to the full extent that Hashem was within his life in every second, every moment. So he was alive all the time. Okay? Most of us, we're going on and off, on and off, on and off. Alive, dead, alive, dead, alive, dead, alive, dead. Right? But the righteous people, they are all the time, they are more alive and more alive and more alive and more alive. So that's what we have to achieve. That's what we have to look up to. As much as we will take those principles and live accordingly, so then we will be able to gain more life within our lifetime. Okay? And also then obviously we don't have to come back as reincarnation. The reason to come back as reincarnation because we miss too much. Someone that he missed too much, so Hashem doesn't want anyone to miss, so he's giving him another chance. Go back and fix and do more. Okay? If we're doing the best that we can, and we're going extending our capability, pushing more and more our borders, so then we can gain more, we can relate more, and this is the way that we are able to connect to Hashem. We are connecting to Hashem. Okay. We'll hold it here for today. Bezrat Hashem. Tomorrow, I'm thinking maybe to move the time of the class to another hour. So to start 7 o'clock. Instead of starting 6:15, to start 7 o'clock, the questions and answers. I'm not sure about it, but it's possible to that. So, yeah, when I will make a like announcement about it in the for other people. We'll see. I have to finish like setting up the schedule this week, Bezrat Hashem. But okay, for tomorrow we'll keep it like 6:15, until I will have like the final decision, and then I'll make this as an announcement. Anyhow, בעזרת השם, ברכה והצלחה, חיים טובים, all the blessings. retort.